Alright, in one of my recent videos, I spoke about why you should never think about switching from a Samsung Galaxy phone to any other Android phone or iPhone. And looking at that video, some of you guys commented saying that that's a sponsored video. And you also suggested me to talk about some of the reasons why you should switch from Samsung Galaxy phone to other phones. So I thought I'll make a video about it. First of all, I want to clarify that the previous video was not a sponsored video. I'm a big fan of Samsung, so I spoke about all the pros of Samsung and the reasons why you should never switch from Samsung to other phones. And I stick to that, and those are my real reasons. But since many of you guys are frustrated with Samsung, let's also talk about all those cons of Samsung Galaxy phones. Let's dive right into the video. The first reason is the innovation gap. Samsung has been doing great when it comes to Samsung foldable phones and the Galaxy watches. There has been a lot of innovations, new features, new hardware upgrades and everything. But when it comes to Samsung slab phones like the Galaxy S series or FE series or any other Samsung Galaxy slab phones, there has been very minimal innovation and the hardware upgrades have been very minimal. We have been looking at essentially the same front display, the same overall chassis and the same floating camera lens rings. When competitors are experimenting with fresh aesthetic materials, innovative camera modules and bold designs, Samsung's S series feels like it has been stuck on repeat. And this brings us to the slow hardware upgrades. Now for several years, Samsung's battery capacity has been stagnant at 5000 mAh and their charging speeds have gone up to maximum of 45 watts. And the main camera sensor, it's been the same old for the last few years. Meanwhile, the competitors are adopting the silicon carbon batteries with up to about 7000 mAh battery on the flagship phones, which is just incredible. And the charging speeds from 80, 100, 120, that is just insane. And the reality is Samsung seems to be intentionally dragging these major upgrades or major leaps over multiple years, feeding us tiny incremental spec bumps each generation instead of delivering real breakthrough. Next up is the software experience. There is no denying that One UI is packed with incredible utility, but it remains a very heavy Android skin. Even with continuous improvements across the latest iterations, Samsung has still not fully perfected its animation engine. When you compare One UI to the ultra-fluid bouncy gesture animations of iOS or some of the other Android skins, you still notice occasional frame drops, minor micro stutters when opening applications, and a feeling that the phone loses a bit of that day one snappiness over time. For premium device costing top dollar, the UI smoothness simply should not feel inconsistent. Another long-standing annoyance is the system clutter and the duplicate applications. Now you see on the Samsung Galaxy phones, we have got two messaging applications. We have got the Samsung Messages and the Google Messages. Of course, in the US, the Google Messages is default now, but in many other regions, we still have both the messaging application. And when it comes to the digital assistant, we have got Gemini and Bixby. And when it comes to browser, we have got Chrome and Samsung browser. While having options are nice, it prevents the out-of-the-box experience from feeling clean and streamlined. Having multiple application stores trying to auto-update applications and redundant pre-installed software taking up storage is something you just don't want to deal with on cleaner operating system. Next, the regional processor disparities. This issue has frustrated global buyers for years. Depending on where you live in the world, buying a base or plus Galaxy flagship often means getting an in-house Exynos chip instead of the flagship Snapdragon processor. Time and again, benchmarks and real-world testings have shown noticeable differences in thermal throttling, sustained gaming performance, and standby battery efficiencies between the two variants. Paying the exact same flagship price as someone in another country only to receive an inferior silicon experience leaves a bitter taste for many users. Next one is resale depreciation. You see, compared to the iPhones, Samsung depreciate quite quickly. If you buy a flagship phone today, after a year, if you're selling it or exchanging it, the value that you get for a Galaxy phone is much lesser compared to an iPhone being exchanged after a year. At least there is about 10 to 20% of higher depreciation on Samsung Galaxy phones, which is a bummer. Next is the hardware reliability. And when I say hardware reliability, I'm majorly talking about the green line issue. And without addressing this issue, this video will not be complete, right? Now, green line is a major issue which many users have faced over a period of time. And in the recent past, we are not seeing such issues anymore. But yes, if it is an older flagship device like S23 series, S22 series, there are still users reporting these green lines coming up after the software upgrades. And in most cases, Samsung did address this concern and they did replace the screens. But many users have not got their screen replaced for free of cost, which has been a concern for many of you out there. And we have also seen rare cases where the batteries get exploded and batteries get bulged out after a few years of usage. So these are the hardware reliability issues which rarely Samsung Galaxy phone users face, which needs to be addressed by Samsung. Now the next one is software update. Now, it is not right to compare the software update policy of Samsung Galaxy phones with the iPhones, because the Apple owns their hardware as well as software, and they have complete control on their software updates. It's all done in-house and it is updated on their iOS, and they release hardly a few models every year. But when it comes to Samsung, they have to wait for the Android update, which will be released by Google, and then they start working on One UI and they add new features and they check the optimizations on different devices. And Samsung launches at least about 10 to 12 devices every year in different models, probably more, and they have to optimize it for each and every model and each and every region and two different chipsets like Exynos and Snapdragon, and that delays their software updates. However, it is not right for them to keep delaying the updates for the flagship Galaxy phones, including the security updates, right? Now, at least the security updates is done in-house. Of course, they do wait for the Google patches, but then if the security patches at least are updated every month for all the Galaxy phones at the same time, may not be at the same time, at least in the same month, it would be really great. Again, this depends on the software vulnerabilities your device model is facing. Based on that, they release the updates, but still, it's good to see the software updates happening in the same month as far as the security updates are concerned. And when it comes to the major Android upgrades, again, it is delayed. By the time we see the brand new version, stable version of a specific UI, for example, One UI 8.5, already One UI 9 beta testing is happening. And by the time we get One UI 9 on the device, the stable version, 9.5 is already out. People are testing the beta. So that's good. But for the last couple of years, the updates are overlapped and people are not really enjoying or not really knowing what has come in a specific edition of One UI, because by the time they start exploring it and experiencing it, the new UI is already there. So that is one area where Samsung is really bad, I would say. So they really had to work on this one. The last reason is feature gatekeeping on the predecessors or the previous generation phones. Now you see, when Samsung launches a new phone with a brand new One UI iteration, they add some very cool new features. And we always wait for those features to come to the predecessors, right? For example, S26 Ultra or the S26 series gets some brand new features, and S25 users, 24, 23 users, or the mid-range phones wait for some of those features. And Samsung reserves some of the features exclusive to the flagships. Of course, we understand it's business, they have to sell those brand new phones. But at the same time, we have also paid heavy amount of money for the predecessors as well, right? Now, for those users, it is really frustrating to not to see those brand new features on the device. Eventually, they do release it, and they also give some reasons like, the chipset is not capable and things like that. But there are some basic features they don't even release it. Just for example, the document scanner was not released for the predecessors, the S23 series, I guess. Likewise, there are many features where which did not really trickle down to the previous generation, and this happens every year. So that's another major issue which Samsung users face, and Samsung really have to make sure that the previous generation owners also enjoy the brand new features so that they stick to Samsung and they remain loyal to Samsung. Now, these are some of the areas where Samsung really have to improve, and these are actually cons, and this could be the reasons why people would be switching from Samsung Galaxy phones to other phones like iPhones or any other Android phones, right? But if you ask me personally, I'm okay to manage these issues because I have got better pros here on Samsung Galaxy phones, and I would like to stick with Samsung because I personally like Samsung. So that's my opinion. Again, these videos are not sponsored by anybody. Samsung doesn't sponsor me for doing any of these contents on the on my channel. So that's something which I wanted to inform you guys. Now, if I missed out on any other reasons, do feel free to share it in the comment section. I know there is no app lock. There are some features which are missing on the Android, on the Galaxy phones, but I'm not talking about those missing features. I'm only talking about some of the major issues, major cons of Samsung Galaxy phones. So if you have anything to add, do let me know in the comment section. Let's discuss that. That's all I have here. Hope you have already downloaded our Volvers wallpaper application. We offer a beautiful wallpaper app called Volvers. It has got depth effect wallpapers, video wallpapers, desktop wallpapers, as well as some freemium and premium wallpapers, and they all are beautiful. Some insane collections. Do check it out. More than 8,000 wallpapers are available. Of course, these wallpapers are not free. If you want the wallpapers for free, you will have to watch the advertisements. If you want to get rid of the ads, just go for premium, and believe me, it's worth it. That's about it. Hope you have already hit that subscribe button. If you want to stay updated with everything Samsung, be sure to subscribe, hit the like button if you find this video informative. Thanks a lot for watching. You guys take care and stay safe. Cheers. Bye-bye.